Hello guys, it's Bias256 here, back with another What If video. And today we're returning back for part 2 of what if Lucius Malfoy had summoned Voldemort in the Deathly Hallows. Now, I know that I left off with quite a dark ending for part 1, but I think I have a theory on how we can make this turn out to be a happy ending for Harry and the others, to a degree. Let's begin. So, where we left off was Harry had just been killed by Voldemort, and he's just gone to King's Cross to speak with Dumbledore, just like the original timeline. Dumbledore then tells him that there is a way for him to go back and potentially defeat Voldemort. Harry isn't so sure, but he then decides to go back to the living world, and he is lying on the ground of the Malfoys' sitting room. Voldemort then says, "I shall return later for the body, Malfoys. Do not let him escape your sights. Do not let anybody take the body away. I want everybody to know what has become of their hero. What has become of the boy who lived." Voldemort then takes his leave to go to the Ministry of Magic and take what is rightfully his. The Northies then go and enjoy a delicious dinner with Bellatrix Lestrange. Harry then wakes up and he can see that all of the Malfoy's wands, including the ones that he, Ron and Hermione had left when they arrived here with the Snatchers and Greyback, were on the ground. Hermione's magical bag was also there. He steals all of it and disapparates to Shell Cottage, where everyone else had been waiting, wondering if Harry would make it out alive. Bill and Fleur then see Harry and are surprised to see him, but they're thrilled to find out that he's not actually dead. Voldemort had just made a huge announcement, you see, over the news of the Daily Prophet that he had killed Harry Potter. But having seen him just now in their backyard, they were ecstatic to see him. Harry then says that he needs to speak with both Griphook and Ollivander. And his meetings with them go the same as the original timeline. Apart from with Ollivander, he has more wands to go through, and it's just him going to speak with Griphook, not Ron and Hermione, because obviously they've been killed by both Bellatrix Lestrange and Greyback. Harry then has the thoughts of Voldemort seeing him go to Hogwarts, going into Dumbledore's tomb and taking the Elder Wand for himself. He then decides that he's going after the cup. He's going to Gringotts. Rummaging inside of Hermione's bag, he then finds the remainings of the Polyjuice potion, and with the few tiny hairs he had gained off of Bellatrix's wand, he put them into the potion and drank. He then became Bellatrix Lestrange and disapparated with Griphook. The two then arrived in Diagon Alley and went to Gringotts. Harry as Bellatrix Lestrange then spoke to the goblin on the desk. "Hello, I've come to look in my vault," Harry said in an unimpressive but slightly okay version of Bellatrix's voice. The goblin on the desk was shocked to see Bellatrix Lestrange in the flesh. "Madame Lestrange! What can I do for you, my dear?" "I wish to see into my vault," said Harry, pretending to be Bellatrix Lestrange. "I will need to see identification, man, if that's okay." "Identification? I have never been asked for identification before," said Harry as Bellatrix. "Your wand will do fine, my dear." Harry then says, "Imperio," and the goblin is then under his control. "Ah, yes, the wand seems to be in good condition as always, madam. Very well, I shall take you to your vault." The goblin, Griphook, and Harry as Bellatrix then go in the cart and head off to Bellatrix Lestrange's vault. They then arrive, and the clankers are used to get the dragon away from the doors. Harry, Griphook, and the goblin get inside, and Harry finds the cup of Hufflepuff. They then exit the vault, and things happen the same from this point in Gringotts as they do in the original timeline, other than the fact it's Harry trying to escape on his own without Ron and Hermione. Griphook has still stolen the sword and is telling the wizards and goblins on the other side that there are traitors inside of the vault, trying to steal something. They're trying to obtain Harry, but he gets on the dragon, just like the original, and flies away out of Gringotts. He then lands in a field near a lake, and the dragon then drinks from it from afar. Harry then applies Dittany from Hermione's bag on his wounds, and he then stares at the cup. Wow, this is impressive, this little cup. How am I going to destroy it, though, he thought. He didn't have the Sword of Gryffindor, and he didn't really have any idea of anywhere else to destroy it. He thought he'd just put it in the bag for now, and thought, where would the next Horcrux be? Yes, he knew where it would be. Ron and Hermione didn't want to admit it. They kept denying that it was true, but Harry knew. He knew that there was a Horcrux at Hogwarts. He then had a small drink of Polyjuice Potion, and then he turned back into Bellatrix Lestrange for a brief moment, thinking maybe this would be a good way to get into Hogwarts. But then he realised, no, they would know that Bellatrix wasn't at Hogwarts. So he drank an antidote and turned back into himself. He then had some pumpkin juice, and then had the vision of Voldemort at Gringotts. His skull was burning just like the original, and he could see Voldemort at Gringotts. What do you mean they've been here? How could the boy be here? He was dead! I killed him! He was here, my lord, said the goblin in fear. What did he take? What did he steal? A small golden cup, my lord! Voldemort was shocked. No, surely the boy didn't know. But how is this even possible? He was supposed to be dead. Potter had been killed by his hands. It seems, Voldemort then said to himself, I failed. He must have faked his death. Yes, that is how it must have happened. Voldemort was convinced this was the truth, but then, if that was the case, how did the boy know? How did he know about his Horcruxes, his anchors, his safeguards to immortality? Voldemort was shocked and thought, were the others safe? He then killed everyone else in the room. Bellatrix and Lucius were the only ones there that were free. They ran away fast as they could, so they could avoid their master's wrath. Harry then appeared out of his mind, and knew that Voldemort was going to look on the other Horcrux locations. He didn't know which one to go. He was going to first, but Harry knew where he had to go, to Horcrux number 1 that he knew. The number 1 he knew was at Hogwarts. He then this separated, and immediately when he got into Hogsmeade, a massive siren went off, just like the original. It was the carrying charm, of course. Harry then tried to hide in an alleyway, but there were Death Eaters lurking for him. Then he was met by Aberforth Dumbledore, who told him to go inside, just like the original. And he then goes upstairs. Aberforth then gets rid of the Death Eaters by telling them it was him who set off the alarms. Harry then has a conversation with Aberforth, just like the original timeline, and they are then met by Neville Longbottom, who's surprised to see Harry, and they then go to the Room of Requirement to meet with everyone else. You'll notice a lot of events are happening the same here, guys, just because, well, I feel like this would be the case, really. He then gets to the Room of Requirement, and he tells them of his plans, that he needs to search for something within Hogwarts. Something that might belong to Ravenclaw, he said. Does anybody know of that? Luna then tells him that there was the lost diadem, and Harry then needs to search for this. He then has the same interactions of going with Luna to Ravenclaw Tower, and Electo Carrot being disarmed and stunned by Luna. Then have the interactions with McGonagall and Aberforth Carrot, and then with Snape. McGonagall then arms the castle, telling the other professors of Hogwarts that they need to defend the tower. Voldemort is coming, Harry says, and he then goes to look in the Room of Requirement again to see if he can find the diadem. He then finds it, but before he can claim it for himself, he's halted by a voice. That's my wand you're holding there, Potter. It's Draco Malfoy. On his own this time. It seems that with only Potter there, he did not need his cronies, Crabbe and Goyle. Finders keepers, Malfoy. He clutches Draco's wand in his hands. Whose are you using? Goyle gave me his, says Draco. But Harry can tell that he's not used to the power of this wand yet. As he did not claim it for his own, he had been given it by another person. They then have a brief duel, but as it's one-on-one, Harry is perfectly capable of stunning Draco into submission. He then takes the diadem, and wonders now how is he supposed to destroy this as well as the cup. He has 2 more Horcruxes, yes, but how to destroy them he thought. And then he remembered where he'd been a few years ago? The Chamber of Secrets. And what he killed? A basilisk. Could this basilisk's fangs be what he requires to destroy the Horcruxes? He takes a gamble and goes to the Chamber of Secrets, using Parseltongue to enter the chamber, as he did before. He then takes the skull of the basilisk and pulls out its fangs. He then pulls out the cup and diadem from Hermione's bag and destroys them with ease. 2 more Horcruxes down, he thought. Now, there's only one left. The snake. Eventually, the Battle of Hogwarts happens, and Nagini is still being protected by Voldemort. Snape ends up dying still, and Voldemort thinks that he has actually got the Elder One for himself now. It will do as he beckons. He then speaks out to everyone else. I know that you are willing to fight, but the battle is over. Stand down. My Death Eaters outnumber you, and I do not wish to spill any more unnecessary magical blood. I now call my Death Eaters to dispatch. Tend to your wounded, care for your dead. I shall wait for 1 hour. I now speak, Harry Potter, directly to you. You have somehow cowardly managed to avoid being killed by me twice. This time I will not fail. I shall wait, Harry Potter, for 1 hour in the Forbidden Forest. After that hour, if you have not given yourself up, come to face me. Then, Harry Potter, the battle recommences. This time with myself, and I shall kill every single man, woman, and child that has tried to protect you from me. 1 hour. Harry then goes and has the notice he has with the pensieve with Snape's memories as the original, and then goes to the forest on his own. But this is where it differs. It's when the Death Eaters arrive back at Voldemort. It seems he has not returned, my lord. He's not coming. It's a shame, says Voldemort. I was sure he'd come. I was for certain that he'd come. Harry's standing there, invisible, of course. It seems I was mistaken. Harry then pulls off the cloak of invisibility and screams at Voldemort. You weren't! Harry and Voldemort stare at each other, and Voldemort then speaks. Ah, Harry Potter, the boy who lived. You won't be lucky this time, boy. Time for you to die. But however, this time around, because he has already died and come back, he does not need to just surrender himself to death. He's already done this. So he pulls out his wand. The wand he's using at this point is Draco's wand. It's the one he finds most accompanying and similar to his Holly wand. He and Voldemort have the brief duel that they have at the end in the original, in the Great Hall, but it's just here in the forest instead. Voldemort cries out, Avada Kedavra! And Harry screams at the top of his lungs, of all his might, Expelliarmus! They have that brief duel, and this is when the Elder Wand spins out of Voldemort's hands. It refuses to kill its proper master. It flies into Harry's hand and ends up killing Voldemort instead. He falls to the ground, and all of his Death Eaters are shocked to see this. Their master, dead! They then run in fear, running away from Hogwarts. But Harry does not try to stop any of them. he simply pulls up Voldemort's dead body and brings it to the castle. Everyone then cheers in triumph. They had done it! They had killed Voldemort, thanks to Harry. And the Ministry of Magic was now being rephoned. The Death Eaters who had escaped were being captured and sent back to Azkaban. And those innocents who were in Azkaban were being freed. And they then celebrate. Harry then sits alone, wishing that Hermione and Ron were here to celebrate with him, but is grateful for their sacrifices. He then marries Ginny like the original, and they have 3 children. But these ones are different to Harry's original timeline children. He has one named Ronald James Potter, a daughter called Hermione Luna Potter, and of course the one we are accustomed to, Albus Severus Potter. And that is where we're going to be ending things for this What If, guys. So, there we go. We managed to actually turn this out into a happy ending after all. Hope you guys enjoyed this style of What If. And who knows, I might do a full-on What If of this as well. But until next time, guys, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, I'm Wise256, signing off.